Part 1. Life and Death in One Breath. Death. Life and death live in me at once, never held one above the other. When one stands far, life I offer in closeness. Only death I deal in death of the limited. Will the deathless be? How to tell the fools of my taintless evil. So, the chapter 1. What is death? Death is the most fundamental question, yet people can ignore it, avoid it, and just live on in their ignorance simply because all kinds of idiotic stories have been spread in the world in the name of religion. Death, the most fundamental question. Do you know you'll die one day? Oh, I bless you with a long life, but anyway, you will die one day. We cannot be sure about other things in your life. We don't know if you'll get married or not, or if you'll get a job or not, if you'll be successful or not. But this one thing is guaranteed in your life: you will go straight to your grave. One of the biggest human follies is to engage with death in third person, as though it's an abstract event that happens to other people, not us. Do you know that about 160,000 people in the world who were alive yesterday are not there today? Each second, two people die in the world, and one day it is going to happen to you and me too. It does not take enormous research or intelligence or even education to know this. This knowledge is inbuilt in every human being. Yet, we think we have an unlimited lease of life. This situation is best expressed in Indian epic Mahabharata. The five Pandava princes, who are the protagonists, are lost in the forests. Severely starved and parched, they scour the nearby hills for water and flood. They spot a lake, and as they try to drink from it, they are confronted by a yaksh, a celestial being, in the form of a white crane who insists they answer his questions first. Refusing to be stopped by a mere bird, one by one, they try to drink from the lake and drop dead. Only Yudhishthir, the eldest of them, is left, always the humble and righteous one. Yudhishthir ignores his thirst and engages with the Yaksh, who fires a volley of questions about life at him. One of those questions being, what is the biggest wonder of life? Without hesitation, Yudhishthir famously answers, hundreds and thousands of living beings meet death at every moment, yet the foolish man thinks himself deathless and does not prepare for death. This is the biggest wonder of life. The Yaksh is pleased with this answer, so he allows him to drink from the lake and also restores the life of his dead brothers. This happened 5,000 years ago, but the human psyche regarding death has changed very little since then. Death is a very fundamental question. Actually, death is closer to us than the statistics we read about it. Each moment, death is happening in us at the organ and cellular levels. This is how, with just one look at your insides, the doctor knows how old are you. In fact, death began in us even before we were born. Only if you're ignorant and unaware does it seem like death will come to you someday later. If you're aware, you'll see both life and death are happening every moment. If you as much as breathe a little more consciously, you'll notice that with every inhalation there's life, and every exhalation there's death. Upon birth, the first thing that a child does is to inhale, to take in a gasp of air, and the last thing that you'll do in your life is an exhalation. You exhale now, and if you do not take the next inhalation, you will be dead. If you do not get this, just do an exhalation, hold your nose, and do not do the next inhalation. Within a few moments, every cell in your body will start screaming for life. Life and death are happening all the time. They exist together, inseparably, in same breath. Relationship goes even beyond the breath. Breath is only a supporting actor. The real process is of the life energy, or prana, that controls physical existence. With certain mastery over prana, one can exist beyond breath for substantial amounts of time. Breath is a bit more immediate in its requirement, but in the same category as food and water. Death is such a fundamental aspect because if one small thing happens, you can be gone tomorrow morning. Why tomorrow morning? One small thing now, and you could be off the next moment. If you were like any other creature, maybe you would be unable to think about all this. But once one is endowed with human intelligence, how can you just ignore such a significant aspect of your life? How can you avoid it and live on as if you're going to be here forever? How is it that after living here for millions of years of life, human beings still don't know a damn thing about death? Well, they know nothing about life either. We know all such trappings about life, but what do you know about life as such? Fundamentally, this situation has come about because you have lost perspective as to who you are in this universe. If this solar system in which we are evaporates tomorrow morning, no one will even notice it in this cosmos. It is that small, just a speck. In this speck of solar system, planet Earth is a microspeck. In that microspeck, the city you live in is a super microspeck. In that, you are a big man. This is a serious problem. When you've completely lost perspective as to who you are, how do you think you will grasp anything about the nature of life or death? One reason people can ignore death and continue to live on in their ignorance is simply that religions of the world have spread all kinds of idiotic stories about life and death. They created some silly, childish explanation for everything. How was I born? The stock bought you. What are you going? Where are you going to go? To heaven. This explanation is very simple but absurd. At least they could have chosen a more efficient mode of transport than a stock. Stocks migrate only in particular season, so all the children should have been born in that season alone, not during other times. Moreover, if people are so sure that they are going to heaven after they die, I ask them, why are you delaying your departure then? Why not go right now? All these silly stories have snuffed out the basic human curiosity about life and death. Otherwise, sheer curiosity, if not the pain and suffering of life, would have strongly propelled many to seek answers to this fundamental question.